Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Owl House, episode 12. So, I was told in the comments that apparently I'm the only one who really has ever brought up the entire A plot, B plot thing. And how it's like in a lot of these episodes, it seems like the B plot is actually more important and just a bigger deal than the A plots a lot of times is. Last episode being a key example, with the A plot being just extremely unimportant, just to an insane degree. Basically, just Luz and King having some fun time writing books and shit. Um, it doesn't really go anywhere as of yet that we can tell. Um, but then the B plot actually expanded a lot with Ida and Lilith's relationship in a really important way, was hugely important to the characters. Even expanded a little bit with the curse and everything. And it's like, geez, why wasn't that the A plot? It makes no sense. It's and again, I'm not even saying that the A plot was necessarily bad. I actually enjoyed the A plot. But it's like it was such a drastically different level of importance to discuss there, and it's like they relegated it to the secondary plot, basically relegated it to the background. The focus of the episode was on something completely irrelevant, all things considered. Again, at least as of now, that might come back, but I doubt it's going to be that important in the end, but still. And it confuses me. Because I don't think I've seen much of any other shows that do that. And if I have, it's been very few and far between, and I can't even think of them off the top of my head. That like puts such a focus on the unimportant stuff, while the important stuff is just like kind of just hand waved off. And it's like we're still getting it, but we should be getting more. Like it should be focusing on that stuff and expanding upon it more, while the cutesy, fun little stuff is more of the background. That's how it should be. That just makes sense from any kind of logical point of view. And I get that they're trying to, like, get the viewers interested in stuff, and they're going to do that by, yeah, having a little more comedy, a little more goofiness, a little more just fun stuff. But they could still do that mixed in with the actual important plots. And again, if the B plots are still there, like if the goofy and silly stuff is still in the B plots, it's still there. So it's not like it's gone or anything. Believe it or not, people will focus and pay attention if you put those B plots as the focus. You don't have to focus on the goofy stuff to get people's attention. They will pay attention with the important stuff too. Gravity Falls proved that big time. A lot of shows have proven that big time. It just seems unnecessary and just completely weird. But either way. Um yeah, it's just going forward at this point. I kind of have to learn to expect that kind of stuff, but at the same time it's just it bothers me. It makes no sense to me, and just the fact that it makes no sense that they do it that way bothers me. uh but if the content's still good, I can't be too upset, right? It's still enjoyable to watch. I still like the characters for the most part. So yeah, there's still that. um But yeah, I'm interested to see what more they do going forward, and when things really kick off, because that's a big one for me. Because it feels like, again, like this series is just scampering about, not really doing anything yet. And I know a lot of shows will start that way. But like Star Versus, like it always felt like it was building to something. Gravity Falls did as well. Hell, Steven Universe is more comparable to this because Steven Universe started off with a lot of weird little episodes, but even it still felt like it was building to something. It still gave us important details and information every now and again that really made it feel like, oh yeah, there's something coming of this. But this one with Owl House, it's just like, eh. Like there's a couple little things in it, like with the curse and all that. It's like, okay, I can see that going somewhere, but that's about it. Like I just don't see this series. It's like this. It's not that I don't think this series will go somewhere, because I definitely believe it will. But from my experience watching it so far, I can't see it going anywhere. Just from I know it will, but I can't see it going anywhere from the episodes and content we've gotten so far. It doesn't read to me as anything more than episodic right now, with little minor hints of a little bit more here and there. But I don't see any of that actually coming to any kind of big revelation or big moments or anything. It doesn't read that way to me. It doesn't read like that kind of a series. And I don't know if that was their intention, but if it was, that's actually not a good thing. Like if they were trying to do that to try and trick us, like, oh, we're going to try to seem like a bit of a bland series, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, big story stuff. If that was their intent, it doesn't work. That kind of thing almost never works. um, like again, you have to make it apparent that there's a big story behind the scenes from the beginning. All these other great shows have done that. And I mean, not everyone's going to be as good at with that as Ruby. Like Ruby did that amazingly. Like right from the beginning, it's like you could tell, oh, something big is going on right from episode one. Like you could tell that this is not just going to be a school series. That you could tell right away that this is going to go well beyond that, and there's going to be a lot of shit we couldn't even imagine. And that was correct, very much correct. But it's like, and you could tell that with the likes of She-Ra as well. Um, but with this series, you don't get that. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It doesn't feel like there's anything big about it. It just feels like a goofy episodic series with some cool characters and ideas in it. And it's like basically all that the even the curse feels like right now is like a season ender kind of thing, like a finale kind of focus, which isn't as big as honestly it should feel. And I want to make it clear, I am not saying all this to knock the series. I'm still enjoying the Owl House at the moment. Um, it's again has great characters for the most part. It has some really good jokes. Some really good jokes sometimes, like really good. I like the style. I like the fun and frivolity of it. There's a lot to love about this series, but I've said it before, and I really want to make this clear again. It is disrespectful to a series and the people who made and work on it to not acknowledge its flaws. You have to acknowledge its flaws, because if you don't, there's no chance of improvement from the creators and people working on it. They're not going to be able to improve if they don't think that there is any flaws. If everyone just praises it nonstop, and they think it's like, oh, everyone just loves this as it is, they're never going to improve on their craft as much as they should. But if you acknowledge, like, oh, this series has flaws, it's like, I want to see these flaws fixed. and everything. It's like it's going to encourage people to work on it more, to make it better, and to try to fix things, and for future projects to not repeat those same mistakes. This is just something that needs to be done. It I don't believe that there's any work out there, no matter if it's a series, a movie, a video game, a comic, whatever. I don't believe there's any piece of media out there that is perfect. Even the ones that I can't find a personal problem with, the ones that I personally like love that much, like Carol and Tuesday, um, if I really nitpicked, I could find issues. Like the fact that there was no confirmation of Carol and Tuesday getting together in the end. But while that's not a big enough issue to matter to me in the end and doesn't ruin my entertainment of, or my enjoyment of the series, it proves that the series is not perfect. It has its issues. It's not perfect. No series is. Again, no piece of media is. And honestly, that's a good thing because, again, it allows creators and everything to grow, to work on things, and to make other better series. Here's a good example. Yu Yu Hakusho. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. It's a great shonen anime, but it did have many issues. And so the creator, Tagashi, ended up making another series afterwards called Hunter x Hunter, which I have reviewed on the channel. Hunter x Hunter, while also still having issues, not being perfect, like fixed a lot of things that were issues in Yu Yu Hakusho. It definitely was an improvement in a lot of ways over Yu Yu Hakusho. And that's the point. Tagashi saw that Yu Yu Hakusho, while very popular and very like good, had some things to work on. And so he worked on them, and it allows Hunter x Hunter to just get even better. And I'm not even all the way through Hunter x Hunter, but still, that the point is there. It's just you could do that so easily. All we have to do is acknowledge that these shows aren't perfect. And we can still enjoy them and love them, and they can even be our favorite shows, but they're not perfect. They have issues here and there. So yeah, that's all I'm trying to say with this. Not too much else to say going into this. Because so I just kind of wanted to talk about that. But yeah, yeah, I wanted to kind of go on that little ramble for a bit there. To just kind of get that point across and to make sure you guys know that I still do enjoy this series. That my criticisms and stuff come from the fact that I enjoy it. And that just because I can be critical and harsh on a series for certain things doesn't mean I don't like it, and it doesn't mean I can't like it. It just means I have a critical side to me. But either way, we're just gonna get this started and hope for the best from this episode. If nothing else, I want it to be entertaining, but hopefully it's good beyond that, and hopefully it actually has an A plot that makes sense as an A plot and a B plot that makes sense as a B plot. If it has an A and a B plot in this one, and most of these episodes, if not all of them, have, so I assume it's going to, but we don't know for sure. Either way, either way, let's get this going. So, that was weird. It's like I felt like I had to yawn and almost kind of sneeze at the same time. It was the weirdest feeling. Anyways, so when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers for the reaction. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Now, this was more like it. For multiple reasons. first off, just the quality of the episode was really high. But even beyond that, like the A plot and the B plot made sense as an A plot and a B plot in this episode. Um, but yeah, like seriously, this episode was really good, and I really enjoyed it. Um, and partially, I guess you could say it's because it gave me what I wanted to see. Again, for multiple reasons. But let's continue. Let's go on with that. So let's talk about the B plot first, just to get that out of the way. So while Luz and Ida are out, King decides to run a little stuffed animal boot camp. He uses Ida's potion to bring the stuffed animals to life, but they end up rebelling against his tyrannical ways, and he has to rely on help from Hootie to stop them. And it works, and they kind of have a moment, I guess. This B plot was one of the best B plots for King that we've seen in this series, in my opinion. Um, because it was really fucking funny. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was actually I think this is the funniest King has been. Um, and just the concept of this, it was really funny. Just bringing the stuffed animals to life to run a boot camp just to get him snacks, and then them turning against him and everything, and like the creepiness of the bear, like the glowing eyes, and then the way the body turns under the head, and it's like just walks away still looking at him. It's like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Um, it didn't like have this grand ending or anything, but it was a B plot, so it didn't really need to. It was just to show King like dorking around and everything while the A plot was going on. But it was really funny. It was really fun, and the ending joke that the episode ended on was so damn funny. Definitely one of the funniest jokes in this entire series so far. Um, but like Hootie, like looking at the camera and saying, "I'll be haunted by my actions." It's like, God damn it, that was really fucking funny. Because I pointed out how it was kind of maybe a little disturbing when the bear's head rolled onto the floor after Hootie had killed it, because it was alive. The potion had brought it to life. Hootie murdered that bear. That is dark and hilarious at the same time. And just again, that ending line was just so damn funny because of it. It's just like, God, that's beautiful. But let's get into the A plot. Speaking of beautiful, Luz is really excited for going to the school. So she wants to learn a new spell in order to kind of keep up with Amity so she can take the same classes as her. And by the way, like, yeah, just blatantly heavy shipping fuel there. It's like Luz is just so invested in wanting to be in the same classes as Amity, and just all their interactions this episode, honestly. Super heavy shipping fuel. Just everywhere. But yeah, so she wants to take the same classes as Amity, these advanced placement classes, but she needs to learn another spell in order to do so. So she asks Ida for help and even appeals to her pride in order to help, get her to do it. Ida takes her to these snowy ruins called the Knee, which, yeah, looks like it's a knee of this like giant dead monster or something. And she starts to teach her these methods about how to learn wild magic, which is all about like learning about nature and becoming one with nature. And it's like, you could tell like right away when she's telling Luz what to do with all this, like tasting snow and shit, and then the moss and all. It's like, it seems weird as fuck at first, but then it like clicks and it's like, oh yeah, I get what's going on here. Um, and I really like to see that. It shows that Ida is super fucking goofy and weird, but also she knows what she's doing. Because no matter how you look at it, Ida is good at magic. Even her sister, even Lilith has said so. That's one of the reasons Lilith wants her in the Emperor's Coven. because she does very much acknowledge Ida's skill, her talent with magic. She knows she's good. So yeah, and Ida very much knows it as well, and she loves that she knows it. She loves to flaunt that, her pride. But yeah, so we get very easily what she's doing here. That this is legit, and we can see how and why. And I kind of compared it to Mr. Miyagi, like from Karate Kid, like the entire wax on, wax off thing, where it's like all the just chores that he made Daniel-san do in the movie ended up being lessons for karate in disguise. And it's kind of made me think of that, although it's not quite the same. But yeah, so while up there, they end up seeing that Amity and her siblings are there as well. And Luz starts to get a little antsy about learning a new spell, so much that she's not willing to wait for whatever Ida's got in store. So she ends up stealing Amity's wand, using it to practice magic, which she does some magic with the wand, mind you, but it's literally meant for that purpose. So yeah, it doesn't really count. Um, but she ends up accidentally really badly injuring the beast, the Slither Beast, and it gets angry and, well, it attacks everyone. And Luz has to work with Amity in order to save the others and stop the Slither Beast, which actually Ida technically stops. Um, but yeah, in the end, Luz does learn a new spell after she actually like follows Ida's instructions and looks and listens to her surroundings, to nature. And she learns this ice pillar spell, which is it's just like instantly the instant I saw it, it's like, oh, that's just Cryonis from Breath of the Wild. It's literally the same thing. It's literally just a pillar of ice that shoots up from below. That's just Cryonis. um, but yeah, it's like it's a really cool spell, and I like how she can even angle and use it to like launch her and Ida. Like that was really cool. Um, but also it's like I can see how that could be a useful spell for multiple reasons, and she even uses it in useful ways in this episode. So yeah, Luz has learned her second spell. That's a very big development. That is huge, for the progression of this series. As is the continuing um, relationship of her with Amity. Um, and by the way, I just want to say both Luz and Amity's outfits were adorable in this episode. I love their like winter get-ups and stuff like that. They're just really fun, cute outfits. Um, but yeah, it's like everything about this episode was just really good. The pacing, the character moments, even Amity's siblings, even they felt like they fit in the episode. I really liked how it progressed the main story and everything. And it's like this is the kind of episode I want in this series. This is what I want to see. I want to see stuff that progresses like main plot points while also developing and like really I it's a weird word to use, I guess, but enhancing these characters. Um and just really good, enjoyable content as well. It was really damn good. Definitely one of my favorite episodes so far. And I can't wait to see what they do with all of this going forward. With Luz going into the school, with her and Amity's relationship, her magic training, all of this. And that, because that's one thing, especially the magic training, that's one thing I've really felt that they should have been doing more of. Because again, up to this point, Luz has only known one spell. It's like I feel like she should know more by now. Like that's literally the reason she's with Ida, and yet they're never actually practicing magic. So it's like she really should know more, at least one more spell before this. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of been ignoring that entire plot point. Um, but maybe that's just me. But yeah, I really enjoyed the content in this episode. It was just really good on all levels, pretty much. Again, even the B plot with King. While I'm not the biggest King fan compared to others, like this was really grade A funny. And again, the fact that it all led up to that joke it closed out on, like, God, that was so fucking funny. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of The Owl House, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.